So how do we make money from home? For starters, this is not a sponsored video. We just get this question all the time, and honestly, the answer is really simple.
So basically, I just trade stocks on an app called Robinhood, which I left a link in our bio if you want to check it out. It's free to download, free to sign up. They actually give you a free stock, so they're paying you to sign up. Here's my strategy in a nutshell. I see a stock going up and I buy it, and I just watch it until it stops going up, and then I sell it, and I do that over and over, and it pays for our whole lifestyle.
He's going with the buy low, sell high. I love it. That's actually great advice. Buy low, sell high.
I feel like we've made a huge mistake here. You know, the Money Guy Show has been going on for what, like 15 years now? We should have just started with that. You just wait until you see the stock going up and you buy it, and then when it stops going up, you sell it and rinse and repeat. That's all you got to do. It's that easy.
If you're wondering how much you can make doing this, in this month I turned about 400 into 14,000. And in this month, I turned less than 1,000 into 20,000.
And honestly, my favorite part about this isn't even the amount of money you can make, but just the fact that we don't have to go to a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah, we can focus on things that we actually enjoy doing. So if you have friends that like want to make money from home, you can tag them or send them a link. Or if you make money this way, share it in the comments so other people know like there's more people doing this now.
Here's how you turn $400 into like $10,000.
Okay.
$40 into $10,000 is to use that $40 to put gas in your car, drive to work, go to work, and start making money. Because there's no free ticket to make it. So the only way you can turn $400 into $14,000, you're either levered, I mean, up to your eyeballs. Sure. You're doing stock options and those things.
Or you got lucky. You bought Tesla at the right time and it happened. Or you bought Bitcoin. Or you jumped into GameStop. Those things are not replicable. You cannot build an entire strategy around that. That's lucky. It's no different than if you walk into a casino and you're like, hey, I'll tell you how to win at the casino. You just put all your money on black. Yeah, that might work for you, but it will not work over the long term.
I look at it as it's the whole sports fishing analogy I make is the fact that he threw a lure in the water, got the big one, the biggest one that he's actually going to mount on the wall so everybody sees it for forever. But that's not a replicable, not every time you go fishing do you get the trophy.
That's right.
Catch fish. So what you typically do when you know you need the fruit of actually fishing and you need to generate to pay for your family, you do index funds. You throw out the net in the water so you get a more likely that you can provide for your future instead of just going sports fisher style and hoping every time you fish you catch Tesla the fish or Bitcoin the fish, because it's just not realistic.
Love it. All right.
So if you're under the age of 25 and you want to be rich someday, here's exactly what you should be doing. Get yourself a credit card when you turn 18. This is a good one.
Wait a minute. First step to becoming wealthy is go get a credit card?
Let's see where it goes. Hold on, let's see where it goes.
If you pay off the credit card on time, it's going to help you build your credit score, which you need to buy a house or take out any loans. Next, read these books. They will change your mindset and help you build your wealth.
I see
also, start investing $250 every single month in an index fund
digging it a little bit.
This will be over $1 million when you retire. I also post more tips on my YouTube channel.
Oh, I love it. Hey, Sarah, you know what? That was all great. I think that was wonderful. I don't disagree with anything she said.
Yeah, I mean, I probably would have said, I wouldn't have started with credit cards. I mean, that's, because credit cards are something you need to be scared of. It's not something that I think the typical person says, what got me to $1 million? But I understand the point she was making was, you need to establish credit.
Understand how to use debt.
But remember, pay it off monthly. But I do love the fact she basically recommended index fund, saving for the future, because she respected discipline. She respected the money that you invest from that discipline and the time it takes to let that money grow through the index investing. So that was actually really good.
She gets the money guy check mark.
Imagine taking $100 and turning that into $1,000 in 30 days.
30 days?
Wait, let me show you how to do it. If you start growing your $100 by 8% a day for 30 days, not including the weekends, guess how much you're gonna have?
Wait a minute, I can't wait to hear this. This is gonna solve all of our problems.
Here we go. The purple and the red numbers. The purple numbers is your 8% for the day, and that red number is how much money you'll have at the end of the day. The first day you only have to make $8. $8 is 8% of 100. The second day you make $8.64, and then you'll have $116 at the end of that day. Guess how much you'll have at the end of the 30th day? By the 30th day, your 8% just turned into $74.54, which gives you a balance of
I love it. She's figured out the time value of money. She gets PV equals NRT. She's figured that piece out.
And 6. This is called compounding your money, and anyone can do this. And that 8% a day is very possible when you trade binary options.
There we go.
Man. Binary options.
There we go. She buried the lead. All it takes is 8% a day.
Oh man.
Oh, I was like, okay, look, she's figured out time value of money. She's figured out compound interest. That's awesome. Her time frame is a little bit off, but it's awesome. She figured it out. And then she went. I was hoping she just made a mistake talking about 8% a day, but no.
How in the world do you afford rent? I never see you working.
Me?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I own the property, so I pay the $900 mortgage.
Wait, you're my landlord?
Yeah, it's called house hacking. I make $1,900 off y'all paying rent each month, and so that means I have an extra $1,000 to use on expenses for the home, as well as extra money for me. So I'm paying you to live here for free.
Exactly.
That's right. And then eventually I'll sell the place and make a big profit.
Guys,
I love it.
This is
I love
legit.
that
She
one.
did that in a really. That was a great video.
That's a great video.
and it
That's
is
a great
true.
idea.
I mean, by the way, it's a big announcement. We'll ruin it here, but we're going to office hack.
That's right.
Our own office building, because it is true. If you can find the right duplex, quadplex, you can actually make all the tenants pay for your building. And then you either, typically, if you can get the note to be covered by other people's rent, you're typically just paying like utilities and insurance or the property taxes.
This is a great first type of way to get into real estate. You have a place to live, but you also have someone else who can subsidize that. It's a really great first step. And we have clients who have bought one as their first thing ever, and they've held it for the last 20, 30, 40 years. And one day they'll sell it, and it'll be a wonderful investment long term.
That was very well done.
I think she nailed it. I like that a lot.
There's that effect again. What?
What?
Okay. Is this like an intern moment where I'm just now old man on the porch that I don't know what the heck was going on there?
I think
I count on you being my liaison to the youth.
I think, you know what? Let's rewind that. We're going to watch that one again. Me at 18, only using 10% of my 3 credit cards. 750 credit score. There's the bank. There's her future car.
But it sounds like they're saying in the background, cheap! Cheap!
No, I don't
but
think.
But none of those things on the screen were cheap.
No. I don't think they're saying cheap. That is old man on the porch. I think that they're just making a sound effect.
It's not cheap. Cheap!
I don't think that's what's happening. I could be wrong. I don't think that's what's happening. I think that what she was saying is that because she wasn't racking up credit card debt and because she had a really good credit utilization and she had a very positive credit score, that she's gonna have wealth in the future. But it takes a little bit more than that, but that's a really good first step. It's a good first step, I think.
I still think...
I don't think they were saying cheap.
Okay. Because none of those things were cheap. What? Now vibing with credit score growing. You know, all this reading, you guys need to understand. I'm good at math.
You know, let's watch it. Hey, let's rewind it.
This is not supposed to happen where we watch every video twice.
No, we're not going to watch every one twice. Just the ones where you have to read. Are you ready? Watch.
Okay. I'm zoned in. Zoned in.
Maxes out credit score drops. Wait, why? Don't use too much. Stay under 10% of the limit. Now vibing with credit score growing. See, that's what. Okay, so he maxed out his credit card, hurt his credit score. Well, then he learned that I should utilize less of it, and his credit score went up. That's true. That is one of the 5 things that goes into your credit score is your credit utilization. Don't max out your credit cards. It will hurt your credit score, and then you too can be vibing with your credit score. You got that?
I figured I was just offering the visual side while you were giving the education. That seems like that's how that video worked.
Way from now on. All right, perfect.
My net worth is over $4 million, and this is my morning routine. I wake up each morning at 3:30 a.m. without an alarm. Then I make my bed, and I do my morning stretches
just like that.
and my physical therapy exercises.
It's an Amazon basic roll.
A quick 6-mile run.
I always stretch after
Same
every
smile.
run. Then I meditate to reflect upon my upcoming day. I always read the entire current issue of the Wall Street Journal
leg squats.
on my morning plyometrics. Then I start a load of laundry to make sure I'm on top of my chores for the day. Then I'll do my mid-morning 8-mile run
after the 6
and
mile.
stretch. I've been journaling every morning
At this point,
for
it's
the last
turned into a
15
farce,
years
right?
to organize my thoughts. Then I drink 1 gallon of water to maintain proper hydration. I write and email 5 thank you notes to people who inspired me.
Oh, yes, this is great.
Then I go for my late morning.
By the way, we're still 520.
Guys, this is all nonsense. I'm not a millionaire because of my morning routine. I'm a millionaire because I spend less than I make, I invest the difference, and I hustle to grow my income.
Dude, that's great. Why did we do that? It's you. We could have totally.
So good.
We could have done that with you. Except that I get the cheat. The cheesy smile.
Here's what I think is so beautiful about wealth building, and I feel so lucky, Brian, because we get to work with folks all over the country who've built their wealth in all kinds of different ways. There's no single one path. You know, some folks like to wake up at 3:30 in the morning. They like to have a morning routine, like to do those things. Just because that works for one person does not mean that's what works for you. I know a lot of our clients, they wake up at 9 a.m. and they stay up until 2 a.m. and they do a very different thing. Don't feel like you have to do exactly what someone else does, and there's some prescription for making your life turn into what you want. I love what he said. He followed a few very simple concepts.
Yeah, he closed it out strong. He really kind of hit the three things I always talk about: create wealth.
Yep.
Is that he's disciplined. That's living on less than you make. That creates margin that you can turn that money into investments, and then give it enough time. It's that simple to become wealthy, and I think that's what he was getting to. But there is a lot of noise out there that'll distract you on that you ought to be doing this behavior, reading 26 books every 2 weeks.
Yep.
And those things are distractions. So just that was really entertaining. And I'm gonna work on my smile after seeing how well that worked for him.
Hey guys, so here's something just to keep in mind. Anytime you see your stock starting to go down, see, when you see something like this, it sucks, okay? And then we go back 5 days and we see, wait a second, oh crap, that looks pretty bad, right?
Get excited.
Let's go back a month. Yeah, that's still pretty bad. And then what about 6 months ago?
Yeah, I do too.
It's not really looking that bad. But what about 5 years ago? Oh, wait, never mind. And then what about Max? That's what you're worried about.
Well done, Graham.
Listen, short term, it's gonna suck, but long term, when you look at the big picture, a drop like this is really not that big of a deal. It's not that scary. Just buy the dip.
There we go.
Graham gave it context, so you don't lose yourself and get caught up in the emotional side. But I want to give you the context of a way to reprogram your brain. When the market is going down, especially if you're 20 or 30 years from retirement, get excited. This is Financial Mutant excited because it means you can buy now at these discounted prices and you're going to make even more money. If you want to get me really excited, let's talk about bear markets when the market starts losing 20 and 30%. That is some of the best rates of return you'll ever have in your life. So instead of having despair and watching the nightly news, get excited.
You're going to want to watch this video till the end because I'm about to share a powerful money mantra that I promise has worked wonders. After I read this mantra the first time, within 3 days, $5,000 came my way. Ooh. And the second time, I got $1,500.
Is this like a chain
literally
letter?
Within 48
Pyramid scheme?
hours. You ready to save this video? For the good of all and with harm to none, $5,000 is on its way to me. It belongs to me. I will be surprised at the speed and ease at which it manifests into my life. I expect the money to come to me within a few hours, but no more than 3 days. And so it is.
So this is a mantra.
She's just saying this. She's like speaking this into existence. I'm going to say this and it's going to happen.
So do I need like some toad tongues or something like that to put into the concoction?
She did not say that was part of the recipe.
I don't mind the positive, because I'm a glass half full optimist. Okay. We know from all of our research and all of our teachings, being optimistic and controlling that inner voice is going to do wonders for you. What I'm having the disconnect on is she said this made her like $6,800 in 3 days.
$6,500 in 3 days the first time, and then $1,500 the second time.
That seems weird.
I have
no other comment.
I have a money mantra that I think we're gonna do a money mantra. I'm gonna come up with a really good idea, and I'm gonna come up with an idea that can add value to the lives of other people, and then I'm gonna find out a way to get that idea in the hands of other people, and I'm gonna charge them for that. So maybe I start writing a blog, maybe I start creating videos, maybe I start doing something on TikTok, maybe I start doing those sorts of things. And if I do that and I do it well and it's valuable, then perhaps people will pay me for that and money will start showing up. I think that's a better mantra than I'm just gonna speak it into existence.
I'm just confused. I think there's she's playing chess, I'm still playing checkers, because there's more to this that I'm obviously missing, so we'll just let it roll.
All right, here we go.
It's one Airbnb to retire. So I pay $700 a night for this Airbnb. As you can see, this is just an average setup. It's not anything fancy, but it's the location. If you take 700 times 30 days, that's $21,000 a month. This house probably goes for between $700 to $750,000. So when you go get a loan with a bank to buy a second home, don't tell them that it's going to be a rental, because if you tell them it's a rental, you have to put 20 to 25% down.
Lie to
so
them.
what you do is tell them that this is your secondary vacation house.
Fraud.
So you're only required to put 10% down.
Whenever you borrow money, you should lie about it.
I think he's thinking, look, my mortgage payment on this is going to be between $4,000 to $6,000 a month. I'm going to have cash flow coming in of $21,000 through my fraudulent
right, because I don't have to put any money down on it.
Statements to the bank, and what could go wrong? But that's still rosy and very optimistic.
And so I don't know if I were going to build an entire wealth empire, I would try to build the entire thing off of one single Airbnb. Perhaps it's not quite that easy.
And I also wouldn't build my empire off of fraud.
I also would not lie on federal paperwork when I go to borrow money.
What is a person that has $236?
Invest it all in yourself. You're already broke. Don't hold on to $236.
When I was 21, I was working for Bob Proctor, and I asked him, I was like, should I save money? He said the same thing. No, absolutely not.
No.
Especially at your age. Don't save anything. Because everybody was trying to tell me, like, oh, you should have a budget. And he's like, no, I still don't mess with budgets.
This is fascinating.
Really? That was the first time I heard it. The stress that saving at a young age causes versus putting that money to investing into yourself. Now it's like, once you have a project that you make $1 million, $500,000 or $250,000, whatever, then you can probably start to maneuver and think about that.
Easy.
Kind of stuff.
Well, I think it starts with a scratch-off ticket.
That's it. Once you have a project that makes you $250,000, then you start.
I would say if they weren't like professionally trained in boxing now, very punchable people in one table right there.
Want to hit them right
but
now,
I wouldn't want to be in the same room.
So
I need you to have my back.
It's ridiculous for someone to say that when you're young you should not save. That's absolutely asinine. Because if you have $239, you would be amazed at what that could turn into for you. We have a koozie right there. It's what you drink your drinks out of that says $1 for a 21-year-old can turn into $88 by the time they retire at age 66. That's how powerful your dollars can be. So for somebody to say, oh, well, don't worry about saving when you're young, that is just foolishness. That is silly. That is ridiculous. That's horrible, horrible advice.
Well, we know wealth building requires several main ingredients and components. And the first thing I always tell people is understand deferred gratification, understand discipline. When they're telling you that has no component while you're young, essentially go live your best life. Don't worry about saving. Go land the $250,000 to $500,000. That might keep you tuned into their content because it's all aspirational, but it doesn't tell you how to build up to $250,000 to $500,000 because it doesn't all happen at once unless maybe you have a scratch-off ticket or you win the lottery.
That's exactly right.
Dave Ramsey's a freaking moron. But he's a genius for poor people who don't have discipline.
If you don't want to become wealthy, follow Dave Ramsey.
If you just want to save your money and die poor, and you have no self-discipline, be poor. Follow Dave Ramsey and be poor. And the reason I say that is he says pay cash for everything, don't have any debt, and that's what I grew up with. Like if you can pay off your house, can you imagine paying off your house and not having a mortgage payment? That's the stupidest thing you could ever do. Can you imagine paying cash for a car? How cool would it be to pay? No, that's terrible. It's a terrible financial decision.
We're in this society now where it seems like extremes rule
that's all
everything.
There is,
That's all that's on air. That's all that seems that works. But that's not the reality of life. I mean, I will say Dave is definitely on one side of, hey, let's get rid of all the debt as fast as possible. But then I would say they're on the other side, which is saying never pay off your debt. Take advantage of the low interest rates and go invest it and you'll have the best life ever. They're both on these different sides. I'm telling you, the answer is actually understanding how risk works, how growth of assets works, understanding the difference between building wealth and keeping wealth, because there's a balance there in the journey where it will change. In the beginning, yes, you should be aggressive. So that falls into what they're saying. Probably counter to what Dave is saying because he's focusing on the discipline versus the wealth building or debt payment versus wealth building. But then I think as you get older, it falls more on the Dave side of things is that to keep your wealth, you better not owe a lot of people money. You better not be too far out on the risk spectrum. It's balanced in the middle, and neither one of them are right.
There are multiple paths to wealth, right? It's not just one path is the only way to get there. There are tons of folks out there that have done what Dave says, and they've ended up becoming wealthy. It matters where are you trying to optimize, and do you care about optimizing? Some methods are more efficient and more effective than others, but that doesn't mean that one leads you into the poorhouse and one leads you into the big house. That is completely foolish talk. Exactly what you said. You have to understand how money works and when is the optimal time to focus on which side of the risk equation.
So why do I put all my money in permanent life insurance when most people tell you not to? Let me give you a few examples.
Because he sells it. I would say because I work for the
life
company.
Insurance guarantees that my kids will end up rich. I like that. Some people don't like that, unlike term insurance where you are basically throwing away all your money. Second reason, permanent life insurance guarantees against stock market risk. I like that. There's a big stock market plummet coming. I will not participate in that. Third reason, permanent life insurance has produced far superior results than the stock market in the last 25 years. Oh. I know that's hard to believe, but math is math, results are results, so always
show me the math.
Love it. Even after the cost of life insurance. And that commission he's talking about, well, that's a blatant lie. A life insurance contract that is designed correctly will pay about 1/100th of the fee of a financial advisor long term. And the most important reason I put my money in permanent life insurance, because it produces up to 4 times more retirement income than the pathetic Roth IRA.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
You notice no numbers, just all statements.
I generally disliked you to start with, but you come after my Roth IRA. Those are fighting words. That is egregious talk. To call it a pathetic Roth IRA, that's clueless. That guy, he just doesn't have a real grasp on the way that money actually works.
Well, I always think it's interesting. First of all, how can insurance companies, they do offer something that is a forbidden language in the financial field. They call it guarantees. You don't hear anybody who works in the financial space use the word guarantees because the government and all the regulators put a lot of weight on that. So how can the insurance industry do that and make it work? Well, the reason and the way is that they control your behavior. Remember, we love investing, we love compounding growth, but the problem is a lot of people get in their own way because the big component of investing that they leave out is the time. You have to leave your money working 7 to 10 years to weather whatever comes your way. Well, guess what? Insurance companies make you, whatever you give them, will have lockup periods. They'll have, surrender periods. They'll have, all kind of fees that will be taken from you if you don't respect that holding period that they have on these products. But also remember, permanent insurance. Why is it like 20 times the cost of term insurance when you're young? Is because what they're doing is the cost of insurance doesn't change between term and permanent. It's just that your premium, the term is just basically the cost of the insurance plus the administration, and they've done all their calculations off of it. The permanent has to say, hey, let's build cash value. Let's have investments built into it so that while you're young and healthy, you will overpay on the premium so that when you're older and the cost of insurance skyrockets, because hopefully now you're self-insured because you have your own financial assets behind you, you can still afford the insurance premiums that are much higher because you way overpaid while you were young and healthy. The problem I hate is that takes all the oxygen out of the room, is that while you're overpaying for this permanent insurance, you can't afford to pay for the mortgage. You can't get into your first house. You can't get, you're making life decisions where you're not investing the 20 to 25% of your income for the future. It really limits you, all because somebody tried to scare you, just like this gentleman, on making bad decisions when you need more flexibility while you're young and building wealth and trying to start building that big financial foundation. Oh, that's the way it always works. Some strong whistle skills, though. Oh, man. Ding. This reminds me of and that couple, but I thought we were the only ones that picked on them, but I found out that a lot they practically became a meme, where it was the couple where he came on there and he goes,
here's my strategy in a nutshell. I see a stock going up and I buy it, and I just watch it until it stops going up, and then I sell it, and I do that over and over, and it pays for our whole lifestyle.
Oh my gosh, that's all you have to do. So this is one of those things where it just shows, no, wait a minute. See, this is why I can't do that. I can't.
Wait, in post, can you add some whistles to that?
I can't do the whistle. This is why I'm stuck in this career field versus doing whistle over work like that. The financial market doesn't work. It doesn't
work that way. Just because you can go look at a chart does not mean that you're going to magically find some trend that works. If it happens and you make money trading on that, I think you got more lucky than anything else. You should get out of the game and focus on steady, consistent, boring, lazy investing in low-cost index funds over the long term, and I think you'll be much happier with the outcome.
My day is 6 a.m. to noon, and I'm not crazy.
I saw this video the other day.
It takes 24 hours, just like some dude in a cave did 300 years ago. My second day starts at noon and goes till 6 p.m. That's day 2. And then the next day is 6 p.m. to midnight. What I've done now is I have changed and manipulated time. I now get 21 days a week. Stack that up over a month, I'm going to kick your butt. Stack it up over a year, you're toast. Stack it up over 5 years, my entire life is different than it would have been otherwise.
He doesn't have kids.
I was going to say the exact same thing.
But Bo, you have young kids. I mean, look, I'll go ahead and tell you, today, we're recording this on a Friday. I've already got the dinner we're going to be meeting at because my daughter last night, she's like, Daddy, can we go out to eat? So we've got that scheduled. My wife has already let me know tomorrow we're doing this. I need some type of consistent scheduling so I can live the rest of my life. Now, look, if I didn't have all these things that also make life awesome as well, sure, I could do the most crazy sleep work schedule you've ever seen. I've even heard of famous people in history who, like, in the middle of the day, they go take an hour nap, and then that way they could work more hours. That sounds great in a book. That sounds probably great when you watch the documentary. Does it work with kids in the way the real world works? Not for me.
Here's what I do love that he figured out, though. Time is our scarcest and often most valuable resource. So I think that probably one of the things that he does do by chunking his days like that is he makes sure that he is very aware of what he is spending his time doing. And I bet when he does that, he doesn't waste a ton of time. I think we all probably could learn something from that. In the time that you're doing something, make sure you do it well in that time. So when you're working, work well. When you're relaxing, relax well. When you're working out, work out well, so on and so forth, so that you don't just let time fly by you. I think there's probably some merit to thinking about it that way without having to figure out how to have 21 days in 1 week.
So let me summarize what you said. Don't get busy doing nothing.
You've never seen a side hustle that involves breeding and selling shrimp before. You can start for about $250 and be making close to $125 a week within a few months. The tank setup will run you $150 total, and then you'll need 6 red tiger pinto shrimp. These will run you $20 each, and the pack of shrimp food will cost you $10.
I can't wait to tell my wife this is how we're going to make extra money.
90 days since these shrimp are your shrimp will start breeding in 2 months. 2 females should then start to carry eggs and produce about 15 babies each, bringing your total to 30 babies. Females can breed once a month. Once the babies have grown for a month, that's when you can sell each for $15. Whee! In terms of maintenance, Hugo spends about 2 hours per week tending to his tanks. Not a bad gig considering he can make about $500 per month per tank.
Okay, that might be great where he lives because maybe there's somebody who
pet store,
a pet store. No,
shrimp.
That's not pet. You don't.
No.
Nobody has shrimp as
they
pets.
use shrimp as feed. A pet store where they use it as feed, like you feed fish and that kind of stuff. Right?
That just
like
seems.
that's
And
what it was,
also,
right?
you have to do that. There's no going back if you do this, by the way, because think about this. I mean, because my daughter is at college right now and she had a fish. And that fish tank looks so ganky all the time because she's not there to nurture it anymore. So we have to feed this fish, and then we have to call her and be like, hey, when are you coming home so you can clean this fish tank? That looks like a big pile of hot mess because you're going to stack up a bunch of fish tanks, grow it. And then when you lose interest because you realize there's not as many shrimp buyers in your neck of the woods, because maybe this works where this person is, but maybe where you live, the shrimp market's much lower. And you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I bought all this equipment. I've got this gross fish tank that now maybe it even starts smelling. I'm out. I'm tapping out.
All right, I'm going to paint it. Let me go glass half full on this. Here's what I do like. A small incremental decision could have a big impact. I think at the end of the video, he said it was something like every tank can make $500. I don't remember if it was a week or month. But by making small little decisions and letting them compound over time, they can turn into big decisions. Maybe shrimp farming is not your hustle. Maybe your hustle is just putting $20 a month into a Roth IRA.
There you go.
And letting that small incremental decision to not spend that $20 and save that $20 is the thing that allows your wealth to build and to ultimately create financial independence for you. I will kind of bridge the gap. That way, I don't think I'm going to start shrimp farming.
So you're saying make your money work for you
There
so
we
you're
go.
not scrubbing out tanks and shrimp poo.
If you're a guy in your 20s and you don't have a Lamborghini, you should actually sit down and have like a serious discussion with yourself as to why you don't have a Lambo.
Yep.
Because I realize now that it's so incredibly easy and there's so much money out there.
So easy.
And 200 grand relative to what is out there in circulation and what you can grab, especially now with AI tools that you can leverage like never before, 200 grand is chump change.
Chump change.
Okay. Do you think, Brian, that $200,000, especially for someone in their 20s, classifies as chump change?
First of all, not chump change. Also, if you said $200,000 Lamborghini, $200,000 Lamborghini, if I'm in my 20s, I'm probably making the 200,000 become multiple million down the road. Not saying that the Lamborghini might not appreciate, but I put more value in what I could do if I invested that army of dollars.
What I think is wild is that the average household income for Americans is somewhere between $60,000 to $80,000 a year for a household. And this guy's saying it's so easy to go out there and make $200,000. I just would not buy into that. That it does not suggest that you cannot go out and make that kind of income, but thinking that it's easy and you can do it overnight, I feel like is a false hope.
Wealth building is a long-term journey process. Average millionaire, 28 years, 49 years of age. Don't let that excite you that a little bit can go a long way. So if you can just take a little bit today for that great, big, beautiful tomorrow, it's going to pay off. But don't let somebody like this distract you or lead you into making bad decisions.
Or maybe take it even a step further. You should go to our website, moneyguy.com/resources, and download our wealth multiplier. And there you'll learn that for a 20-year-old, $1 can turn into $88. So even if you could buy that Lamborghini, think about how much that $200,000 is actually costing your future self, and I bet you'll double take.
Here's why you should never pay off your house.
So there he is, Chris.
It's worth $100,000. That's what this stack is worth. And you've been told by Dave Ramsey and other people, I got to get my house paid off because I'm going to be financially free. False. Most people will accelerate getting their house paid off by throwing extra money on their 30-year mortgage. And maybe after 20 years you do it. You finally wipe it out. You own your house free and clear. I got news for you. What do you have for retirement?
You hate that you agree with him.
You put all your focus in getting your house paid off. Instead, mortgage that house, access the majority of this money. You know what I'd use it for? I'd go buy 5 more houses.
Oh, okay.
Imagine
All
those
right.
first 5 houses are
good.
each cash flow
I have something I can get mad at him
$500
for.
But a few years later, you're going to sell those 5 for 15 more. And you're going to sell those 15 for 50 more. Now imagine $500 coming off of every one of those houses.
I do have a look. There's just enough. This is why Chris
doing so good. He was doing so good.
But he puts enough of good stuff in with the crazy that it makes your brain short circuit. But the thing that I think is interesting is that it is true. You can use leverage and keep expanding, and it's all great while things are good. While there's rainbows outside, while there's unicorns in the meadows, it all works beautifully. But the moment that somebody quits paying their mortgage, and yet you still have the banks that require you to pay the mortgage, you still have all the maintenance that has to be done, that's when it goes disastrous. And that's why if you want to get in real estate, we love real estate. I've shared before, we have 8 figures in real estate, but we love it with deep pockets. You got to have enough money to get through the hardship. Now, Bo, what do you think about paying off your mortgage?
Yeah, he started so good. He was saying, hey, one of the problems people have is they get so excited to pay off their house that they're not actually building wealth outside of their house. And, Dave Ramsey always talks about, hey, if you have a mortgage, you're not factoring in risk. You're not factoring in risk. Well, we would make the argument that if you're not building wealth outside of your home equity, there is a big risk that you are taking on by not having your dollars working for you. Listen, if you want to be debt-free, if that's one of your goals, that is okay. But we think it should happen inside the financial order of operations after step 7, after you are saving at least 25% for your future self. Then, if you want to pay off the mortgage early, you certainly can. Now, I'd make an argument. The mathematics might suggest otherwise for very young people. But if you're saving your 25%, you get to choose. Because what you don't want to do is get to retirement, have a paid-for house, and still can't afford groceries.
You see that right there? Ronnie Lambert, CEO of Fortress.
Joker.
I don't do this as an ego thing. The reason I'm doing this is so I can write off my clothes, because clothing is not tax deductible. But when you put your name on it or you put your signature on your shirt, it's now a uniform. So I get to write off the clothes. I get to write off.
If only this was true, it would be great.
I get to write it off. I get to save more of my own hard-earned money. If you want to learn more about how to pay less in taxes,
send him a DM. My IRS, send him a DM. Brian, you're an accountant. This was your professional life for so many years. Is this the strategy that we're all missing out on? Is this what we're screwing up?
Listen, there's enough reality here that it makes you go, man, maybe he's on to something. But then there's I imagine if you're an IRS agent and you watch TikToks like this, are you not scribbling his name down and go, man, at some point maybe we need to start an inquiry here, because there is nothing wrong if you're a corporation or a business and you want to go print some shirts or vest or pullover with your logo on it and you want to hand them out to employees, you want to wear them yourself, clients. You want to give them to customers and people, that just to kind of get your brand awareness out there. That's completely deductible. You could do that. Now, where he lost me is he opens up and he's got the suit there with his name on it. And it's almost like, you know how when you're a kid and you lick the apple or the ice cream cone so your friends wouldn't, want to share it? I feel like by putting his name on it, somehow it's his and it's deductible. That's a falsehood. It's got to be within an actual need for the business. They've actually talked about clothing. Is that clothing, if there's things that are already just required for work. That's why commuting expenses are not deductible for car purchases. That's why you wearing clothing, because it would be bad form if you showed up to work naked. They just assume you've got to show up with clothing on. Everything's deductible until you get caught. Love it. Doesn't mean it's right, though. I'm telling you, as soon as you get caught, you'll be like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't have put that on TikTok.